We're standing at the edge of one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 21st century. For nearly 8 decades, something lay buried beneath tons of German concrete and steel hidden from the world, waiting to be found. And when archaeologists finally breached those massive U-boat bunkers along the German coast, what they discovered wasn't just machinery or weapons. It was a window into one of history's most desperate, untold stories. The year was 1943. Nazi Germany was losing the war. The Atlantic had become a graveyard for their submarines, and Admiral Dönitz knew something had to change. The Allies ruled the skies. Their bombers were relentless. So Hitler ordered something extraordinary: the construction of massive concrete bunkers so strong, so engineered to perfection, that nothing, absolutely nothing, could penetrate them. They called them U-boat pens, and they became some of the most heavily fortified structures ever built by human hands. But here's what's haunted historians for decades. What was actually inside those bunkers when the war ended? When Allied forces swept through Germany in 1945, they found the bunkers standing, largely intact, impenetrable fortresses of concrete. But the contents? The records were destroyed, scattered, lost to time. Did the Germans destroy everything inside? Was their technology hidden away? Were there secrets that could have changed everything? Until now, nobody really knew. In 2023, a team of international archaeologists and historians made the decision to do something that had never been attempted before on this scale. They would carefully, methodically open these bunkers and see what remained. What they found inside changed everything we thought we knew about the final days of Nazi Germany's submarine warfare program. The excavation began in the bunker complex near Kiel, one of the largest submarine bases on the German coast. These weren't small structures. Each bunker was a masterpiece of engineering, reinforced with nearly 20 meters of concrete, designed to withstand direct hits from the heaviest Allied bombs. The walls were so thick, so impenetrable, that some bombs simply bounced off them. Others created craters on top but never broke through. The Germans had essentially created an underground fortress. As the archaeologists entered, shining their lights into the darkness for the first time in 8 decades, they encountered something unexpected. The air itself felt different down there, undisturbed, preserved, almost sacred in its stillness. And then they began to see it, equipment still sitting in place, tools abandoned in haste, documents scattered on the ground. It was as if time had frozen the moment Germany surrendered. What emerged from the darkness was a complete snapshot of a submarine construction and maintenance facility in its final operational state. Blueprints were still pinned to walls. Technical manuals lay open on workbenches. But most remarkably, they found something nobody expected: the skeletal remains of 3 submarines, still in various stages of construction, frozen exactly as they'd been left in May 1945. These weren't just any submarines. These were Type 21 U-boats, the most advanced submarines Germany ever built. Faster than anything the Allies had, capable of staying submerged for days, equipped with snorkel technology that made them revolutionary. But here they were, incomplete, abandoned, monuments to a war that had ended before they could ever taste the ocean. One of the lead archaeologists, Dr. Helena Muller, described the moment they realized what they were looking at. "We knew we were standing in a place that had been sealed for 80 years. But when we saw those submarines, we understood we were looking at a moment frozen in time. These were not just machines. They represented the final desperate hopes of an entire nation. But the real discovery, the one that sent shockwaves through the historical community, came when they found the personnel records. Carefully hidden in a metal box, protected from the elements, were the names and service records of over 400 submarine crew members, along with detailed logs of their final missions, their kills, their losses. It was a complete human record of the submarine war in its final chapters. What made this particularly haunting was the documentation of lives cut short. Young men, many in their early 20s, whose stories had been completely erased from history. Some had families. Some had written letters that were never sent. The archaeologists found actual photographs of crews, standing on the deck of their submarines, smiling at the camera, young and hopeful. Many of those faces belonged to men who would never return home. Beyond the personal records, they discovered something else that shocked historians. Evidence of a secret weapons program that had been kept even from most senior German officers. Hidden in a compartment behind one of the construction bays was a cache of documents detailing something called Project Seawolf, an attempt to weaponize U-boats in ways that violated even the understood rules of submarine warfare. The full extent of it had never been revealed to the world. The most spine-tingling discovery came when they found the engineer's workspace. On a desk, still sitting in perfect order, were technical drawings for the next generation of submarines designed so advanced that some experts believe they wouldn't be matched by other nations for another decade. The Germans were planning for a future that would never come. But perhaps the most emotional discovery was in what they didn't find. The bunker was essentially empty of the final production submarines. Where were they? Historians believe most were scuttled, deliberately sunk by their own crews rather than fall into Allied hands. Some may have attempted to break out during the final days of the war. Others may still be sitting on the ocean floor, untouched for 80 years. What the archaeologists realized as they cataloged everything was that they weren't just uncovering military hardware and documentation. They were uncovering the final moments of thousands of men who had devoted their lives to a cause. Some were true believers in Nazi ideology. Others were conscripted teenagers who had no choice. All of them were human beings with families, dreams, fears, and hopes. The bunker preserved their story in a way that no history book ever could. The investigation into these bunkers has prompted a complete reassessment of submarine warfare in the Atlantic and the true technological sophistication of Nazi Germany's military programs. It's also opened painful conversations about how we remember war, how we honor those who died, and how we reckon with the complexity of history. As you walk through that bunker today, and tourists can now visit the preserved site, you're walking through a time capsule. You're stepping into the shoes of young engineers and sailors who were there 80 years ago. You're seeing the tools they used, reading the words they wrote, understanding in a visceral way what it meant to be part of one of history's most consequential conflicts. The discovery reminds us that history isn't just about dates and battles and grand strategic movements. It's about people, real people. And sometimes the most profound historical insights come not from dusty archives or declassified documents, but from opening a sealed bunker and letting the past speak for itself. What lay hidden inside those German U-boat bunkers for 80 years wasn't just metal and concrete. It was the story of thousands of human lives, preserved in amber, waiting for someone brave enough to look.